$100 billion world's fastest train. How would you feel about learning you'd be spending the night in an area with no electricity? Many of us may end up freaking out at the mere thought of that. Not that this can be likened to traveling by train, but that is how old-fashioned train transportation is to every other state-of-the-art means of transportation. In today's topic, we will be revealing the world's fastest train, how much it cost, and its current location. Hello guys, welcome back to your favorite YouTube channel. Today, we are going over Japan's $100 billion world's fastest train. Before we go ahead with this video, if you love videos about crazy luxurious feats, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button to stay in touch with all the fantastic and very entertaining videos we share on this channel. Trains are very old-fashioned in so many ways. You may not know this until you're headed a long distance and traveling on one. Train transportation is very outdated when you compare its speed and efficiency to that of an airplane. Naturally, train transportation is seen as quirky instead of a go-to option when traveling on a long distance. Well, all that changed when Japan arrived on the scene with their super amazing multi-billion-dollar train that is generally created to make traveling on a train faster and much more enjoyable. Let us tell you how Japan is making the world proud with its state-of-the-art luxurious train. You'll also learn how Japan's world record-breaking maglev L0 passenger train has undergone a series of tests since it was unveiled to the press in November 2012. Let's take a ride on this train together, shall we? Attaining an insane speed of 374 miles per hour, this technically advanced train is finally going to run on the Choa Shinkansen lane, a route between Tokyo, the capital of Japan, and the substantial provincial city of Osaka. Hopefully, the first phase will run about 2/3 of the way to Nagoya, around 2027. The remaining Osaka stretch would eventually come into play about 18 years later, after the first phase. Almost 100 years later after Japan's first look at the maglev technology, the $47 billion construction of the phase of Nagoya, 85% of which would run in tunnels, will enable the run from the capital to the provincial city, which is a distance of about 185 miles, for only 40 minutes. And that's not all. When the route to Osaka, which is over 250 miles, gets opened fully, the train is said to have a capacity of making a full run on the tracks in approximately 1 hour, 7 minutes. Now, friends, what are we going to call this? A massive time-saving device. Well, it is, once you factor in airport check-ins and the location of train stations. How much is the construction of this train going to cost, you might ask? The total cost of this magnificent piece of technology would be about $100 billion or even more. In order to achieve the mouth-dropping speed, the maglevs no doubt combine a whole lot of different technologies to achieve this jaw-dropping, record-breaking speed. Nonetheless, the significant technology that was really integrated into the creation of this breathtaking machine would be magnetic levitation. This particular system uses only a single moving part, which is the train itself. The Japanese system is called the SC maglev. The maglev uses a system of superconducting magnets to push the train away from its track. It is naturally a U-shaped guideway that holds the train in position. Using these superconducting magnets has a key benefit of the entire system. The train doesn't actually sit on anything, but hovers a very small distance above the tracks. Now, the main source of friction that would ordinarily slow the train is eliminated. Another magnet system is used in propelling the train. The second magnet, with the help of pole alignments, simultaneously pushes the train away using repelling forces on one side. On the other hand, it pulls the train forward using attracting forces. So what this magnet does generally is use the laws of attraction and repulsion on the train. When the system is cooled to a low temperature, it is said to be particularly efficient. One great benefit of this train system is its affordability. Since the system operates mainly on the concept of non-moving parts, this actually means it's a lot cheaper and more reliable to run, although the setup can be very expensive. Again, the lack of friction makes the speed of the train unimaginable. There are other benefits to maglev systems. This includes a smooth ride. This smoothness is created by the absolute lack of contact with the tracks the train moves on. It is also impossible for a maglev train, while in motion, to catch up with another train, since the track is not only a path for the trains to follow, but also plays the role of a speed controller. As a speed controller, the tracks control the speed of the trains, making it very impossible for the trains to collide or overtake one another. This is because every train, with the help of the track, travels at the same speed, meaning that there's no risk of collision between trains at all. South Korea and China are running the same train system. It can be seen between Shanghai and Seoul, while in South Korea, it can be found plying through the southern coastlines. That noted, there are a lot of requirements to be met before having the world's fastest train or any other maglev train set up and running in any country. One such requirement needed to run the system is the specific track layout for the maglev, which cannot be shared with other conventional trains. Due to the specifications of the sort of tracks to be utilized in the train system, the setup is very expensive. In addition to these, the speed of the train simply needs a minimal and relatively slight curve to be explored. Sadly, these curves can also be a limiting factor depending on the location. Another unfortunate issue delaying the structure in Japan is the issue surrounding the erection of the tunnels alongside environmental protests, especially around the tunnel's impact on the water levels in local rivers. The financial results of the coronavirus pandemic have also impacted negatively on the finances of the project. This is because the project, to an extent, relies on passengers using the conventional rail system. Despite all the delays, the project is nonetheless managing to move on and planned to offer Tokyo Olympic trial rides before the international audience was dispersed by the introduction of the virus. The maglev L0 train understudy in Japan by the JR Central Japan Railway Company has the technology built to the highest level globally seen so far. And this is exactly what helped push the speed out to about 374 miles per hour in testing. The top speed is mostly going to be hit in the commercial journeys, since these journeys are expected to translate with a range of 300 miles an hour and a little above that. We just discussed the practical scenario of this train. Let's consider the experimental conditions. It is already possible for visitors and tourists to experience the smooth ride offered by this train by booking a kind of preview ride on the Yamanashi Maglev Test Line, a 26-mile circuit on which the train gave a record-breaking speed, where it pulled no less than 7 coaches at a time. The train also has been able to travel for up to 2,500 miles in a single day during its test. The most recent model of the Japanese maglev is generally called the improved maglev L0. One would naturally expect the name to be different from the original brand. However, that's not the case. The improved version of the train was launched in May 2020. This brand is improved since there were improvements made to the power system. The power is now able to come up throughout the track. The improvement also includes the development of the aerodynamic of the front car, as well as the addition of an onboard generator. A remarkable thing that happens in this train when the power is removed is that it glides to a stop. The aerodynamic improvements are very important to the speed of the train. It also controls noise reduction. This is in addition to the fact that cutting through the surroundings of the train so quickly gives the train a feeling of comfort in an everyday commercial environment. While this latest model is unlikely to be the final one, the designer, Motowaki Tarai, nonetheless has told the interested media that the latest version achieves about 80 to 90% of the train's ultimate design goals. And, like the previous version, it also has a 12-car set. Presently, the actual trial train consists of a combination of the 2 different models running some older and some newer carriages. In practicality, the trains will cut the current travel time between Osaka and Tokyo, which naturally takes up about 2.5 hours by train, by more than 50%. It is only fair to admit the media were really impressed when they were given a chance to look at this amazing technology on the test track. Remarkably, this track has hosted over 2 million test miles so far. In as much as a little under 3 minutes, it gets to a speed of about 310 miles per hour. It is refreshing to note, also, that this might probably be the top commercial operating speed for the train. That's it, folks, on Japan's $100 billion world's fastest train. If you ever get a wonderful opportunity to tour this luxurious train, would you step on board? Or would you restrict your movement to a specific section of it? Tell us in the comments. That's it for us.